Good afternoon, and I'm Sandra Quintana Soler. My lesson plans. This is my lesson plan for the micro teaching class about the functional language, giving personal information. So I'm going to start explaining the parts or the aspects that my plan has. The first one is class profile, lesson name, language points, length. I have some stages. I have 5 stages and aims, procedures, and resources and timing. So the stages are exploration, leading, practice, production, and finally the closing activity. So my plan. So I'm gonna explain. So the class profile. The class will be developed with 8 graders, 32. It is a group that enjoys speaking lesson, and there is a good class environment, a good rapport. Regardless this advantage, the class will be a little disorganized when they have to move the chairs for carrying out some communicative activities. So the class profile has to do with the description of my group or my students, and the advantages that I have for classes, and the possible problems that I will have with them. Second, the lesson aim, I have as main goal that students will give some personal information by practicing questions and answers in oral and written way. Language points, it has to do with the previous language. Before this class, they were working on reading some people giving personal information as examples for their own text. As previous stage, that it is the homework. The functional language, giving personal information. Grammar focus, it has to do with simple present tense through speaking skill mainly. The time that I have for the class is 15 minutes. So the stages of the class, or the moments of the class. Number 1 is exploration. It has in this part I have to check students' assignment, homework, and relate previous knowledge. So I have 10 minutes for this class, and it has to do with the exercise number 1. So the students will have to complete a personal information format, taking into account their homework, a short text about themselves. Then the teacher will ask 3 students who want to read their information to the class. So, for example, the information format that I'm speaking is this. This is the exercise number 1. So they have to complete it, and then they have to read it to start the class and to relate the previous knowledge. Yes, this is the first moment of the class. The second moment of the class is leading. So in this part, the class has to introduce students to the topic, to elicit them to understand what we are going to work, or to start working on the topic. The teacher will write some questions for speaking about personal information on the board. Likewise, she will stick some papers with specific words to the information, for example, name, age, identity, and so on. Students at random will participate by matching or organizing the questions with the right word on the board, while the teacher clarifies pronunciation and meaning, and will write some clues of pronunciation as well. I have 10 minutes for this part of the class, and I use the board and the questions and the words and the questions that I am going to use are this. This is the exercise 2. So I'm gonna write these questions, and I'm gonna stick these papers, and the students will have to organize, and we are going to clarify the meaning of each one and the pronunciation of each one. What are they speaking or asking for? So we continue with next stage. Next stage is practice. Practice. The aim is to give students opportunities of practicing the target language. So I have 10 minutes for this part of the class. The teacher will ask the students for matching the questions and their personal information on their copy. So I'm gonna give this copy for them. They are gonna have this copy and they are going to organize to match the information, questions and answers. So they have to write. So then the teacher will ask the students to practice the communication drill in which one student calls a classmate and asks him/her a question. He or she answers and he calls another person and he asks a different questions and so on. And so the teacher will elicit them to correct pronunciation. I mean, for example, Camilo calls Susana, Susana, please, where are you from? And Susana answers, I'm from Tunja. And Susana calls another person, for example, Michael. Michael, what do you do? And Michael answers, and he asks, and he calls another person, and so on. While I elicit them to correct pronunciation. Next stage, I have production. The production stage. I think that it is the most important part, because in this part I check students' understanding of the target language, and I value or assess the goal of the class. They will have to use language and to produce the language that I need through meaningful communication skills. So students will participate actively in the activity called 2 cycles speaking. They will use all the questions and they will answer to those questions. So the activity is based on exercise 1 and 2, and we have 15 minutes for this part of the activity. So, excuse me. I'm going to explain the activity. Maybe I think that it is a control speaking activity or communicative activity. Students will have to work by pairs, and they will have to locate in front of each other and try to make 2 circles in the classroom, one inside and the other outside, and the numbers 1 and 2. Then the students will follow the instructions in which the different numbers will have to stand up and move different places to the left or to the right when the teacher says. Then they will have to sit in front of the classmate and they will make the questions the teacher says to them. For example, teacher instruction, please, number 2. And it can be the circle, the outside circle, and they stand up and I say, move 3 places to the right. They move 3 places to the right and they sit in front of a new classmate, and I say, please, let's speak about age and residence. I give them two aspects to speak. And so the new pair will start asking and answering the personal information questions until the teacher gives next instruction. While they are speaking, I am a part of the class, listening and understanding what they are doing and solving problems solving problems as they are speaking with their classmates. This is the production activity. And next, I have the last moment or stage of my class. The aim of this moment is to value class and assign tasks. In this part, the teacher will ask students for comments on the class or doubts, The teacher will explain the homework where they have to record an interview by pairs by using the language of the class and even adding more questions or more information by pairs. And the teacher also will receive the activities from Edmodo, because in my school we are working on with Edmodo platform. And I have 5 minutes in this part of the class. To complete the 50 minutes, I plan to work with them. Generally, I have 60 minutes, but I make plans for 50 minutes only, because of different circumstances of the class, and even sometimes we don't have the enough for the necessary time to work on the things that we plan for classes for students. So thanks for your attention. This is my lesson plan, and I hope it will be suitable or profitable for the first aim or the first activity. Bye.